current leadership of the country must cut all ties with the past by sending a strong signal it will prosecute Mubarak's alleged wrongdoings. While many will see this as a positive step in the right direction, others will say it's too little too late, and that the delay in issuing such a freeze will merely have allowed the Mubarak family even more opportunity to hide any ill-gotten gains. Ayman Muhyiddin, AlJazeera, Cairo.
Yemen's opposition has rejected a call to join a unity government. That's despite reports President Ali Abdullah Saleh is prepared to give the opposition ministerial posts. Hashim Al-Barra reports from Sana'a.
Rehearsing for the big day, anti-government protesters outside Sana'a University. A huge rally is expected Tuesday, and for the first time, the opposition plans to join pro-democracy demonstrators in what they are calling a day of fury. This square just off the university campus has been the epicenter for demonstrations against the government. From there, organizers plan to march through the streets of the capital. Despite pledges by President Ali Abdullah Saleh to enact democratic reforms, these young people are saying that they have made up their mind, that they have crossed the point of no return, and that they will continue their fight to bring down the government and the political elite in Yemen.
Please, 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 please leave our country before it's coming too late. Please leave our country, leave our country. We don't need anymore. If you love us, please leave us.
But Saleh isn't willing to leave. In this gathering with his ruling party, he made it clear that he won't let the street overthrow what he insists is a democratically elected government. In a thinly veiled warning aimed at stemming the rise of defections among loyalists, he told his party that if he should fall, they would be next.
Ben Ali is gone, but is it calm now in Tunisia? Is it over? They want to get rid of the leadership, the inner circle and all the chain of command. They got rid of the first-tier leadership in Egypt. Now they want to get rid of the rest. I'm telling you, you have to be careful.
But warnings like these have not been enough to keep some of his most staunch supporters from losing faith. 11 members of the ruling party have already joined anti-government forces, along with one of the most senior tribal figures in Yemen. Saleh cautioned that his security forces were given strict orders to act in self-defense. Threats are likely to dissuade the demonstrators from massing on this square for what they hope will be a turning point in their fight for democratic changes. Hashim Al-Barra, AlJazeera, Sana'a.
A third day of unrest in the Gulf nation of Oman has seen more protests in the northern coastal city of Sohar. A supermarket was set ablaze and protesters blocked roads to two of the country's main export ports on Monday. As many as 6 people died during clashes with police. Demonstrators are demanding economic and political reform. In Bahrain, protesters have blockaded parliament in an attempt to increase pressure for government reform. Bahrain's Crown Prince Salman said on Monday that efforts were underway to launch talks with the opposition. Pro-reform rallies are continuing in key parts of the capital, Manama, calling for the monarchy to bring greater political freedoms. In Iran, there's growing confusion about the whereabouts of opposition leaders Mir Hossein Mousavi and Mehdi Karoubi. They've been under house arrest since the beginning of the month. It's now been reported the two have been moved by security forces, but a judiciary official has denied this. Meanwhile, Iran's reportedly told the UN it was a broken pump that forced it to remove fuel from its first nuclear reactor. Russia, which helped build the facility, backed up the reports. Intelligence sources had earlier said a mysterious computer worm known as Stuxnet had caused damage, and some had speculated it had caused this latest setback. A Danish sailboat carrying a family of 5 and 2 crew members has been seized by pirates in the Indian Ocean. The boat was reportedly headed to Somalia. The family includes 3 children between the ages of 12 and 16. 4 Americans were killed by pirates last week after their yacht was hijacked. The United Nations has accused Belarus of violating a Côte d'Ivoire arms embargo. A United Nations spokesman says forces loyal to incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo received a shipment of attack helicopters on Sunday, with more expected. Gbagbo refuses to transfer power to Alassane Ouattara, the internationally recognized winner of November's presidential polls. Police in the Democratic Republic of Congo have arrested more than 30 people after a suspected coup. The government said up to 60 armed men attacked the president's house on Sunday, killing 7 people. Leader Laurent Kabila wasn't at home and was unhurt. Fighting spread to a nearby army base before the Republican Guard put down the attack. Meanwhile, hundreds of women in Côte d'Ivoire's capital Abidjan have been rallying against President Gbagbo's rule and the ongoing violence in the country. Street battles in Abidjan and in the west of the country have left dozens of people dead. At least 10 people have been killed in Sudan after clashes broke out in the disputed oil-rich region of Abyei. Abyei's chief administrator is a member of the Dinka and Gok tribe, allied to the south. He accused Arab Miseria nomads of attacking a Dinka settlement, but a Miseria spokesman accused the South Sudanese army of starting the fight. Kyrgyzstan is facing another spring of discontent as its new government struggles to get a grip on the economy. Food prices are soaring, unemployment is rampant, and the country is at risk of defaulting on its debt. Robin Forestier-Walker reports.
Poverty flourishes in the shadow of these mountains. The ramshackle town of AlJazeera, population 15,000, the houses were built illegally on private land by rural poor seeking opportunity, just outside the capital Bishkek. The Doronov family has no running water, no electricity, and no local school to educate the children. Times are hard. Food price inflation is the highest in the region, up as much as 40% from this time a year ago.
After the revolution in April last year, it looked as if the fortunes of the people in this town had changed because suddenly electricity pylons began to appear. But after the elections and the formation of the new coalition government, the work ceased. And the people here remain cut off, not just from the grid, but from the wider society.
One explanation is that there is no public money to finish projects like this. The government has pledged to increase the budget this year by 37%, but acknowledges substantial problems.
We have a budget with a deficit and a stagnant economy. Our first priority has been to stabilise the economy through elaborate mechanisms that could provide us with results this year.
That includes raising tax revenues, but 70 to 80% of all the money in Kyrgyzstan flows through the underground economy. And critics say this, above all, must be addressed.
They're not trying to, work with the current situation that we have with the gray economy and see how we can attract those businesses, those entrepreneurs, to come into the official sector and start paying taxes.
The quick fix for Kyrgyzstan will inevitably be aid and loans from international donors, but that means continuing dependency and debt. While towns like AlJazeera remain a symbol of sickness at the root of the Kyrgyz economy. Robin Forestier-Walker, AlJazeera, AlJazeera, Kyrgyzstan.